If you have an interest in horses and love learning more about horses, the horse industry, teaching, or even managing your own horse business, then you're in the right place. We would love you to join us on our mission, which is to improve the lives of horses around the world through the education of riders, handlers, and trainers. So get comfortable, listen in, and enjoy.
This is another of our popular Listener's Choice interviews, which we're playing over the weekend. We've chosen the most popular interviews for you to select the Listener's Choice winner. If you're not sure how the Listener's Choice competition works, have a look at horsechats.com/choice for the rules and the leaderboard. Today's chat's been brought to you by International Horse College. International Horse College's motto is people safety and horse welfare. If that's the way you feel about it when you're working with horses, have a look now. internationalhorsecollege.com, registered training organisation 31352. Now today we've got a guest, Dagmar Klingenboeck, who has come on before. We know a little bit about her, and if you haven't heard of Dagmar, I would suggest that you go and have a listen to episode number 570. Dagmar's an animal communicator, and we talked about listening to horses. And today she's going to be talking about 10 steps to a deeper connection with your horse. How are you going, Dagmar?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you very much for having me again.
Oh, thank you for coming on. Thanks for your time. We appreciate it and your knowledge. Dagmar, before we start, you've got 10 steps to a deep connection with your horse. Now, do you see this as an area where people just aren't connecting enough with their horse and have a deep enough connection? Is that why you chose this subject, or you tell me why you chose the subject?
Probably not that they don't have a deep enough connection with their horse, but it's just sometimes they don't know how to achieve that. So
Yes.
I'd like to talk about it and just give them some tips how they can achieve that, because we want to have an equal relationship with our horses.
Yep.
And then horses are happy to work with us and do things for us if we understand them, and we also give them a choice and a voice.
Yes, the choice and a voice, that's a good one. Yeah. Now, the first one, be present. Tell us about that.
I think we're all guilty of it, especially in today's world with modern technology. In the old days, we didn't have a phone on us, but now we have a phone on us, and we might even, make phone calls as we're riding the horse, and we're talking to other people. We're on Facebook and Messenger, and we're not actually present with our horses. And it's so important because they feel that we are not there with them. They feel what we're thinking and what we're doing. So if we're not present and enjoying the moment with them, they feel like they're just on the sidelines. They're just left out. So how can they connect with us if we're not listening?
Yeah, and I know that it's a bit of a syndrome, I suppose, in the 21st century. It's just, being present with each other. So if we can't be present with each other, it's obvious then that we're not present with the horse.
Yes, absolutely. And I really make a point when I do work my horses that I have my phone on me in case there's an emergency, but I just turn it on airplane mode or have it on silent, and I just keep it in my pocket because I really want to enjoy the time with my horses, and I want to make sure that they know that I'm present.
Yeah. Now, talk about mindset. What sort of attitude should we have towards our horse?
We can often get stuck in this situation that we are thinking, our horses, they don't do this for us, they don't do that for us, and we just have this negative image. And I always say it's a bit like in a relationship or, married couple. They might say, oh, he doesn't buy me flowers anymore, he doesn't do this anymore, and he doesn't do that anymore. But we don't actually change either. If we change our attitude and we approach them in a positive way, then they will also approach us in a positive way. So we can't be negative about our horses and towards our horses and, think that they bite and they kick and they do this and do that, and they're nasty, and that they then are nice to us. So we need to be nice to them for them to be nice to us as well. So it's very important that we have this positive attitude towards them.
Yeah. So how are we going to get that positive approach? Tell us a little bit about what we should be doing to have the positive approach so that then we can get a deeper connection with our horse.
Again, our animals understand our thoughts because that is what animal communication is. It's a connection from mind to mind. So if we have negative thoughts, then they understand our negative thoughts. So we want to have a positive message for our animals. We want to have positive thoughts. And it's even going into, how we say whatever we're thinking is going to become reality. So it goes into the same thing. So we want to have positive thoughts, positive messages, and of course also reward is very important for our horses, that we can let them know that they are doing a great job for us. And they prefer to work with someone that is positive, and even when they make a mistake, that doesn't punish them, and that just lets them know that this is not what we wanted them to do, but is not actually nasty or cruel or anything like that. So it is very important to have a positive approach towards our horses.
All right. Now, how important, I'm thinking from a horse's viewpoint, how important is it then that we do view the whole conversation from the horse's viewpoint as well?
Well, it's also important to understand why they react in a certain way,
Yes.
We might tie the horse up in the washing bay and they're totally uncomfortable there, and then we get upset with them that they are nervous. But we must realise that they are on their own, away from the other horses, so they're not happy, or they were locked up in the stables for 24 hours and we take them out and they're playing up. And then we're upset that they are not nice and calm. But we need to consider that they haven't been able to move around for 24 hours. So maybe we can then just go and let them in the dressage arena, let them run around a bit and get rid of some energy. So we do need to understand them and why they react in a certain way, because they don't just do it for fun, but they might be anxious, they might be nervous, they might have too much energy. And if we can understand what is going on, if there's any fear involved or anxiety, then we can help them, and we can be more compassionate about it as well, and help them and maybe make different choices. And sometimes we might not know why they do certain things, so it's great to then connect through animal communication and ask specific questions. Why do you do this behavior? And then we can react, and we can then include that in our training and work around it. And sometimes, if we're not comfortable in an area, we're not going to go there. So why do we expect our animals to always just put up with whatever we put them through? So it's nice sometimes to just give them that option as well, to let us know that they're not okay.
Yeah. Talk a bit more about how we can be patient, how we can give the horse time when we're with them.
A typical thing is even with the farrier, when the farrier comes and they want the horse to move over, you see it so many times, and not talking negative about the farrier, but, they might just come in, put their hand on the horse and push them over, but they didn't actually ask them to move over, they didn't put it in words and say, would you mind moving over, put their hand on their bum and just indicating what we want them to do. So when we ask them to do something, we need to give them time and not rush them, so they can actually understand and do what we ask them to do. So that's very important, that we can, again, be passionate, that they also are their own beings and they need that time. I always say, just treat your horses the way you want to be treated as well. So if you have someone that comes along and just grabs you and pulls you around, you're not happy about it either. You want to be asked first. And if we can do that and then give our horses that patience and the time, that's a great approach.
Okay.
Stop. I need to interrupt this chat for a hot off the press notification. That is, that the latest version of the book, 101 Careers in the Horse Industry, is now available, and the best news is that it's a free download. So if you work in the horse industry, if you have a plan to work in the horse industry and have a career in the horse industry, or if you know someone who plans to have a career in this fabulous industry, then this is an essential book for you to read now and then keep as a reference as you progress through your career. With over 100 jobs to choose from, you'll probably find at least one that you'd happily do without being paid. So simply go to internationalhorsecollege.com, scroll down to the bottom of the page and click on the 101 Careers in the Horse Industry button to receive your free career book. Imagine, maybe one day you could be a guest on Horse Chats.
Okay, so if we're going to treat the horse the way that we want to be treated and respect them as an equal being, tell us a bit more about that.
Absolutely, because in the end, horses are just not cars or machines. They are animals and they are beings, and they've got their own feelings, their own thoughts. They got dreams just like us as well. So we always expect them to fit into our world, but they are equal beings. So they've got their own ideas, They want to be treated as well in a calm way. They want to be treated politely, and it's great if we can ask them nicely rather than just pushing them around and pulling them around. And positive sentences are very important. So try to ask your horse what you want them to do rather than what you don't want them to do. And have a kind voice. But people often think that it's the voice, but it's not just the tone that you're using. They do understand your words. So if you do say nasty things to them in a nice voice, they still understand what you're saying. So you do have to be careful how you choose your words, because I have that in many occasions. My clients' horses or animals, they tell me things, and it does come out that, people have given them silly nicknames and things like that. But of course, for us, it's also not funny if you call someone fatty or things like that. It's not nice. And animals feel the same about it. So if we're negative towards them, it's not something nice that you would want to do with other people, and animals are the same. They want to be treated as equal beings.
Okay. So if we want, because you talked before about letting the horse have an opinion, how much of an opinion do they need to have?
Well, again, the thing is, from the old days, it was a bit like, we are the boss and we just boss them around and they have to do what we want them to do and we have to control them. And we thought this is the way to go about to have that, for them to have respect for us. But the problem with that is that then there's a lot of fear involved. And I'm not saying that we need to let the horses walk in our space and run over top of us. They still need to respect us as much as we respect them as well. But horses come and live with us and they have no choice. So we want them to do things. We want them to work with us, whether they like it or not. So it's really great if we can give them an opinion as well and let them express their feelings as well. And there's some days where you don't feel like working, and there's days where your horse might not feel like working. And sometimes it's like, okay, well, why don't we just go and do something else and have some fun today? So it's very important that there's a nice balance between what you want and what your horses want. And you will find that if you have this good balance with your horses, that you just have a better relationship with them. And we often think that then they are in control. But this is not what it is about. It's really about having an equal relationship. And the more we do for them, we will find the more they will do for us as well.
Okay. Now, what happens if we're not comfortable with something? How honest do we have to be there? Do we have to pretend that we're happy and confident, or let them know we're not comfortable?
Well, the thing is, we can never trick them. Again, they are reading our thoughts. They understand our feelings. So even if you're nervous and you pretend not to be nervous, they're still going to pick up on your mood, not just from your energy, but as well from your thoughts. So if you're not comfortable in a situation, then don't go there, because you're transmitting that feeling to your animals, to your horses, and then that's not going to be a good outcome. So it's very important to be honest, and you can say to them, look, I'm a bit scared here, and talk to them and explain what is happening, and only do what you're comfortable. We often have a lot of situations where even horses tell me that the owners shouldn't be listening to other people, because there's often other people. Of course, you've got trainers and other people that help you with, educating your horse. But especially in an adjustment environment, you have a lot of other people that think they know what's going on for you, and you should doing things different. But in the end, it's you and your horse, and you know how you're feeling, and you know your horse better than anyone else. So if you're not comfortable, then don't go there, and only do what you feel that is what you're comfortable with.
Yes, it's very hard for someone to come in and they've got a new horse and they don't know much and they want to learn a lot. There's always a lot of people out there who are ready to tell them, and they give conflicting advice.
Exactly, and they say, you should go for canter, come on, go and canter. But if you're not comfortable to canter, then just go for a walk. Because as soon as you push yourself in that uncomfortable zone, you will transmit to your horse that you're not feeling safe, you're not happy, you're worried, and then you don't have a good outcome. So even if other people push you to do things, if you're not comfortable to do it, then don't do it. And be honest about the situation. You don't need to feel bad about it.
So how important is fun then? What happens if we don't want to train anymore, we just want to have fun?
Well, the fun part is very important. Even for horses that are competition horses, we need to give them an opportunity to have fun as well. They don't want to work 7 days a week. We don't want to work 7 days a week. And if that is all that we do with them, it just doesn't make it fun, and they think every time they see us, oh, I have to work. But if we can take days where we take them for a walk, we might have a play, do some liberty work, they go like, oh, working with her is actually good fun. And you can even, during the training session, have a moment where you just do fun stuff. And that is so important to just give them a good balance.
Okay. So it's all, getting the balance. Now, before we go, Dagmar, I'm just thinking, have you got like a final message about listening to your horse and how to connect with them and give them a voice? What would you say?
Well, I guess it's just to combine everything together and just to make sure that you're in the moment, that you're observing and also observing your feelings and the feelings of your horse. If you get stuck, you might want to connect through animal communication where you can ask questions, which is also very handy if there is any health issues, and just give them a voice because, they might be unhappy about the paddock situation, and we need to know that so we can make life better for them. And it's so important to ask those questions. And because animals, they just live, horses live in their paddock 23 hours a day.
Yes.
And so whatever is important for them is maybe not important to you. They might talk about the water situation or their paddock friends, but we want to know why we have issues in training, and we want to know whether the saddle fits. So we need to ask those questions to get answers to them. Yeah. But it's really to combine everything together and just make sure that we treat them as equal beings.
Yeah, so there's two things there. I think when we talk about paddocks, we mean like fields and big areas, not little paddocks or yards. And
No.
Yeah. So animal communication, is that animalcommunication.com.au? Is that the best place?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay, and that website will be on your page anyway, which will be horsechats.com/Dagmar Klingenboeck. Or I think if you go to horsechats.com, search for Dagmar, and at the bottom of her second page we'll get that website up so you can contact her direct. Now, I'm thinking, Dagmar, that was good. It was just a lot of things there to think about, things that we should be thinking about. But I think sometimes if you get on, people might have forgotten, just forgotten to have fun, forgotten to consider things from the horse's point of view, and just even, thinking about the horse as an equal and not just always feeling that they've got to be in control and boss the horse around and do things like that. So I think your voice there, you're really speaking on behalf of the horse, thinking about what your horse says, what your horse is thinking.
Absolutely. And if we show them respect, we treat them as equal beings, all of a sudden they change as well. They change their attitude and they just become different horses. They become soft horses, and we can just see a change happening. And they're just happy to work with us and to be with us because they know that they are very important as well. It's not just about us.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks again, Dagmar. Thank you for coming on and having a chat to us, and hopefully we'll catch up with you again soon for some more of your valuable information and knowledge.
Excellent. Thank you very much for the chat.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
If you've enjoyed this chat, then please comment, rate and subscribe. If you'd like any changes or recommendations for guests, then please contact us through horsechats.com. And while you're online, have a look at the government-accredited courses at internationalhorsecollege.com. Registered Training Organisation 31352.
Remember that our comments and instructions are general in nature and do not take into consideration your individual horses or your individual ability and circumstances. If you enjoyed this podcast, then please leave your comment below.